The South Carolina Gamecocks are being one of the more talked about programs in the SEC, and there's really a lot of excitement around that program right now, and that's largely due to former Oklahoma quarterback Spencer Rattler. And anyone that's watched this channel or keeps up with this channel has seen us put out videos about Spencer Rattler, but today we're going to talk a little bit more detail of how the offense is going to look differently with Rattler under center. So we're going to talk for a few minutes, and we're going to break down some film at the very end of the video as we have, Rattler clips going across right now. We'll get into a bit more detail at the very end. But I think the offense is going to look different in several different categories, and I know Gamecock fans certainly hope so, but I do think it will look different, and I do think the potential to really take a big step is there if a few key factors are cleaned up. But before we keep diving into the content or the meat and potatoes of the video, I just want to encourage all to consider subscribing to the channel if you like any quarterback related content, any quarterback content breakdown, just talking about quarterbacks in general is fair game here. So let's jump right into it, because I think it's fairly simple talking about how the offense is going to look different. It comes down to the ability to push the ball downfield, right? The ability to have more yards, the ability to have more air yards, right? And so I think when you can push the ball downfield, that really opens up the offense. That's something that Rattler brings to the table. So last year, the three starting quarterbacks for South Carolina, Luke Doty, Jason Brown, and Zeb Nolan, they all combined for yards per attempt average, so push the ball downfield for right about 7 yards. Doty was 6.8 yards per attempt, Brown was 6.7, and Nolan was 7.3. You want to be at least around that 7.5 to now 8 yards per attempt, especially in this day and age in college football. And so they were, I don't have the exact numbers out in front of me, but if they weren't the lowest in the SEC, they were definitely bottom 3 plus. Spencer Rattler, on the other hand, his yards per attempt were 9.6 his first year starting in Oklahoma, which is great. And then last year was 7.9, which was down a bit for him. But I'd probably argue if he was a starter the rest of the year, it would have gotten up above that 8 yards per attempt. So I really think this comes down to pushing the ball downfield and the ability to fit the ball into tight windows. Something that Gamecock fans will definitely welcome there. And the ability to make tough throws, the ability to push the ball downfield is going to set up easier throws for the offense and just set up the run game in general and just set up a more successful offense. So the ability is there, right? The ability for Rattler to push the ball downfield, the ability to fit in the tight windows. Whenever he's on, the ball's out quick, right? The two things that come to mind when watching Rattler whenever things start to get into trouble is, one, don't force it. I know we're watching some clips right now that look like he's kind of forcing it. We're going to get into a little more detail, but don't force the ball. When you force the ball, not even the mere fact of interceptions happen, but then just incompletions, and then you just kind of second guess yourself, and so the offense can kind of stagger or struggle at times, right? So don't force the ball, and then don't retreat. If you go back and watch some of Rattler's film, whenever he starts retreating, second guessing, and then the ball's not coming out quick, you see him take sacks that need to be taken. You see him start to run. He doesn't need to run. So again, don't retreat whenever pressure's in the face. Get the ball out quick. So the big two things: don't force it if you're Rattler, and don't retreat. But on the other hand, what he brings to the table and how the offense could look a lot different is more balls being pushed downfield and seeing tougher throws, seeing the balls fit into smaller windows, which will keep drives alive. The longer you keep drives alive, especially in the SEC, the higher your chances are to potentially come out on top, especially in that SEC East, facing some good defenses. So again, just a quick video. Before we end this video, we're going to go ahead and look at some of these clips you've been watching and kind of just break it down to a bit more detail, and then we'll wrap this thing up. All right, so here we got a deep kind of post route from Rattler against TCU. We saw it in the beginning of the video. We're going to watch it here and then just kind of dive down in a bit more detail, because this is one of the biggest attributes that Rattler brings to the table for the Gamecocks. But I think it's the ability to throw downfield without having a clean pocket, right? So we're going to see it's a half roll. We got pressure in his face here. So right now he technically isn't, he's got a step on the DB, but it's not like he's open right here, right? So the ball has to be put out here, which Rattler does with pressure in his face, having a big completion against TCU at the time right there. So let's watch it one more time, because some of the other videos we watched on this clip, guys were wide open or it was a clean pocket, which is great and easy, but the ability to throw the ball downfield never, it's not perfect circumstance, is definitely more of a attractive attribute than a clean pocket, right? Let's go ahead and watch this clip as well. I'll pause it right before we get to pressure in the face, right? So pressure in the face, he knows exactly where to throw with the ball. No up top safety. Takes a hit here, boom, and the ball is placed out beautifully. for the receiver to go get it. It does help the DB falls down, right? But still, the point of the clip remains the same. The ability to push the ball downfield when it's not a perfect situation. And probably 9 times out of 10, especially in this league, it's not going to be a perfect situation. And so the ability to do that in kind of that environment is even more important. So again, we'll watch it one more time. Again, ability to push the ball downfield, huge for the Gamecocks and their offense. Let's go ahead and watch one more clip in more detail. All right, last clip we're going to watch of Rattler, and this could be chalked up, honestly, into a don't force it category, but I want to show it because I think it does have two good examples. One, it's going to show, what experience quarterback brings, right? So to hike the ball whenever a defensive lineman is off sides, and then it shows his ball placement. So the ability to fit the ball in the tight windows is more than just having a strong arm or good anticipation. It's having a good feel for the throw. So on this particular throw here, he knows he's getting that offsides call. At least I think it was offsides. Only have one up top safety here, so you have like a cover 1 or a cover 3 type scheme. And Rattler sees that. You got an open receiver. So as opposed to leading him here, he knows the only chance that ball will be complete is on the other side where the safety is not. So he throws over there, ends up being a good completion in a very tight window for a touchdown. Now again, you can make that argument that's one of the categories of, hey, don't force that thing. But at the same time, if you know you got the call offsides, you can take a chance like that. And I think it's a good example of showing just the ball placement here from Rattler. So again, fitting the ball in the tight windows is more than having a strong arm. It's more than good anticipation. Those are two great things to have. But it's just the ability to have a good feel on ball placement, which he shows right there in that throw. So I just wanted to kind of break that down to a bit more detail there. So again, Spencer Rattler, don't force it, don't retreat when you pass it, and he has the ability to push the ball downfield and really help open up that Gamecock offense. But Gamecock fans, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this Rattler in general and the season in general? Any SEC fans, let us know in the comments below. And again, if you like this type of video and content, please consider subscribing, liking, all that YouTube stuff, and we'll see you next time on the next quarterback-related video.